healthy with rising food prices can be challenging for families. Joining me now today is Raine Robinson, registered dietitian at Children's of Alabama. Why is it important to develop these healthy eating habits?
I think a lot of times we wait to make changes when we already have an illness, or maybe someone's told us we need to make a change. And what that usually results in is fad diets and quick fixes that might work for the short term but really don't help with long term. So developing healthy eating habits can really help you and your family or friends make those changes for like a long and healthy life.
So let's talk about fruit first. Why is it important to eat fruit?
Well, fruit definitely has a lot of vitamins and minerals, we know that, but one thing that's worth mentioning when you talk about fruit is fiber. And so understanding fiber and what it does for our blood sugars really helps make fruit feel more of an important part of your diet. So when we look at something like an orange, for example, if we take orange juice, we have the sugar and the water from the fruit, but we don't necessarily have the fiber. So we're getting the vitamins and minerals, but we're missing that fiber. And what fiber can do is help lower our blood sugar levels and keep us fuller longer and help us prevent cravings and kind of like hangriness later on in the day too.
Definitely.
So looking to choose the whole fruit options is really a great choice, and especially with spring and summer like we talked about, they're all coming into season now. So another thing to keep in mind is when it's off season, it might not taste that great, and so it's going to be a little more expensive if it's off season, and it's not going to be that flavorful.
And how many servings of fruits and vegetables should we be eating every day?
Well, I think a lot of times we get bogged down with numbers, and so while it's a good idea to keep in mind that for kids it's about a half a cup to 1 cup a day, and for adults it's about 2 to 3 cups a day. And so keeping that in mind is a great idea, but really I would just say, are there ways you can add it to a snack or a meal? So you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the number as much as making sure you try to consciously include it and put it on your grocery list so it makes it to your home.
We're now at the meat department in Piggly Wiggly River Run, and we know protein is a nutrient our body needs, and we can get that from lean and low-fat meat. So how much protein do we need daily?
Your protein needs daily just depend on the person. A good rule of thumb though would be the size of your hand. So usually it's around 3 ounces for adults per meal, and kids is closer to like 1 to 2 ounces. But usually a little cheat is you can just use the palm of your hand and see kind of what your body needs for protein. So for men it's going to be a little bit more, and then for some women it'll be a little bit smaller, and then kids is a little bit smaller too. And so it really just varies. We typically don't have a hard time getting our protein sources in, but you're right, the kind of protein that you choose does matter. So when you're looking at different types of meat, chicken is a great option. Leaner cuts of meat, chicken, turkey, and then fish or seafood are all leaner cuts of meat. And then beef and pork tend to be on the higher fat side. One thing to note though is fat does give flavor. So if you're taking some of the fat away from the meat product, just be careful of the seasonings that you use, and don't replace the fat with extra sodium or sugar, and just kind of add extra herbs and spices to make it more flavorful.
Talking about bread, how can we pick a healthy option at the grocery store?
Well, we really want to look over at that nutrition facts label too, because marketing companies are great at telling us what we should buy, but you know better. So go ahead and flip over to the nutrition facts label, and when you're looking at like this whole wheat bread option, for example, tells us it's a honey wheat product, but the first ingredient is actually unbleached enriched flour. And so if we look at this whole wheat product, we notice that the first ingredient is actually that whole wheat flour. So that's going to give you more fiber and really more nutritional bang for your buck.
Thank you, Raine, for sharing this important nutritional information. For more information, go to childrensal.org.